What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the blue color, going for the most wild opening you'll ever see. His name is SuperAfim. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Oranos. His name is M4rcos, and this is the first game of the best of 5 series for the Challengers League playoffs. And I want to tell you some history here. I remember this. This is straight out of my memory. I remember playing SuperAfim on vanilla. I believe it was an Isis mirror on this exact map on one of these types of spawns. And he just sent his villagers forward to try and find his hunt. Now, I don't recommend this for your ladder games at all, but essentially what SuperAfim does here is he basically abuses a rule called the veto rule, and if he doesn't find the hunt by the minute mark, he will just click veto. Otherwise, he finds the hunt and he gets a really, really good start, as opposed to what his opponent has to do, which is eat chickens and then wander over to his hunt over here and have a bit of a rough opening. So SuperAfim here, whether or not you can say that it's unsportsmanlike to be utilizing the veto like that or not, it's definitely well within the rules, and he's going to be having a relatively decent start here, though this villager here has no idea what it's doing, shooting this zebra down as far away as it possibly can. We'll see if SuperAfim's going to fix that one up. But even that being said, the fact that you send your villagers this far forward early as Ra is still kind of less than ideal, because Ra is also going to be wanting to bring those villagers back home at some point and sit underneath the town center for those farms, for those goats. So while it's good, it's also bad, as we do see the pharaoh now scouting out the giraffe, trying to find everything on the map, finds himself a relic here. The Osberg wagon has been uncovered. This is one of the best relics that Ra and Egyptian can find, giving them the extra 15% caravan move speed, which is huge considering you can also empower your market to also boost your caravan income. But more importantly, that minus 25% caravan food cost ends up being a big deal, as it looks like SuperAfim manages to catch an oracle out of position here with the ghost buildings, utilizing those granaries around here. Very sneaky. M4rcos not paying attention to that one. Will be losing his oracle as the villagers continue moving over onto this hunt. And it looks to me like SuperAfim here is kind of struggling for the food at the moment, though. He's not having idle town center time, and all is well. M4rcos, on the other hand here, starting to put villagers over onto the chickens. He's actually got enough wood and gold here to get himself that temple up and go for a 430. But to me, this kind of looks like he might be going for a 505. Given the start that he's had, he's not quite happy with the 430 isn't potentially what's going to happen here. His food, or he might just go for a delayed 430 as well. Or maybe he'll get the food for a 430 exactly. I might not be seeing this exactly right. It looks like it's going to be relatively close nonetheless. So if he wanted to get a perfect 430 here, he could have taken the villager off of the wood and eaten some chicken here, and it would have been fine. As you can see, 5 seconds behind. Not the biggest of deals, but it's the small things that matter in this game, as the villagers of SuperAfim still trying to mass that food up. He actually hasn't put any villagers yet onto wood, as he's starting to put some walls up over here and figure out exactly what he needs to do in this game to take out the Oranos of M4rcos. As, I mean, at this point, going for a second town center almost feels a little bit suicide, just considering how bad the town centers are. They're not really securing anything, maybe a wood line, but they're not securing a gold mine. This gold mine here is relatively far away, and I think that if M4rcos just plays this one fairly standard off of one town center and SuperAfim decides to go for a second town center, he might find himself having a very difficult game. Though that being said, he does have a nice gold mine over here that has M4rcos spotted that. M4rcos has spotted that, so it's not going to be all too easy to find, as I mean, a wall here and a migdol behind it should be relatively safe, but we'll have to wait and see what SuperAfim's actually going to do after all is said and done. As the villagers are on the gold, he's got himself 8 villagers on gold. No upgrades just yet. Pickaxe coming through for M4rcos as he hits that second age. Counter barracks getting dropped over here, and a second military building, the military barracks coming down. So no surprises here for M4rcos, as he deletes that Promethean offspring, wanting to get some pressure onto these villagers very, very early. SuperAfim leaving these villagers in here, trying to get a little bit greedy to eat the remainder of this zebra, but the Promethean offspring actually might be able to pick off a villager here, especially considering there's only 2 at this point, and they only do a little bit of damage at 5 damage, but they're going to be able to pick off a villager. You could potentially use Shockwave here. It wouldn't be a bad idea to Shockwave this villager back to ensure that you're going to be able to kill it. And we'll see if that's what M4rcos is going to want to do. But SuperAfim here, he is losing 1 and potentially a second, though. That second villager looks like it's going to get into that watchtower. And SuperAfim, a little bit too greedy there in the early stages of the game. He is actually going for this town center with only 5 villagers on it and the priest. Generally speaking, you want to be getting that pharaoh empowering the town center. There's a huge difference between the pharaoh and the priest in terms of empower rate on these town centers. I think it's like 35% versus 75% or something crazy like that, as the Promethean offspring comes over here and checks this one out. Meanwhile, I still haven't started on those upgrades, it seems. Yeah, no Shadoof, no husbandry. He's only now getting pickaxe. So this is going to be a really, really slow classical age after all is said and done, as a barracks is coming down for SuperAfim as well here to start producing some I guess, some axemen or some slingers or something like that to just kind of stay alive here. As now the town center is up and the villagers are all, simply put, abandoning the town center and coming back home. I wonder if he'll put any farms up on this or not. I wouldn't be surprised to see no farms or 1 or 2 farms on that town center, just to be as safe as possible, as it looks like the walls coming up will block this villager from coming back home. And the villagers popping out here as well, they're gonna be having a bit of a rough time to get back to their gold mine over here if that's where they want to go. But I imagine SuperAfim, he's getting some wood and he's just going to get himself that Shadoof first. We'll see how it all goes as the villagers moving up onto these berries here. There's a very, very small amount of hunt for this savannah. Sometimes you can get like 4 rhinos and a huge pack of giraffes. Sometimes you can get 0 rhinos and you can just have the giraffe and zebra like we're seeing over here. As this villager getting pulled back, Shadoof on the way. So the units have to retreat back for M4rcos. As I'm sure SuperAfim here, he's only going to build units out of this barracks if he feels like he has to. But it's a very, very careful defensive play here just in case. There's another barracks coming down onto this position. There's a world where if you put like the armory up on this top corner here and a barracks down the bottom, it makes these back farms much more safe. But that being said, it looks like SuperAfim is going to be putting quite a few farms onto this back location. There's husbandry coming through now. Still no plow is in, so it's still very slow as M4rcos getting that town center up. And this is as it comes down to it in terms of raw openings, this one is going to be an incredibly economically centered opening, but it does leave SuperAfim very, very open to getting gold starved here in this game, because he's going to use a lot of that gold on farms. And by the time he hits that heroic age, the gold mine might even be expired. So he basically won't be able to gather gold, but he will have a lot of gold in the bank after all is said and done. Something like 900, 1,000 gold after all the farms are done and the big dog comes up. So you basically can get a full pop army, but sometimes a full pop army, not really worth it. Not really enough, I should say, to push out of your base as Ra versus Oranos. As we also see now, SuperAfim building his wall, building his death box. All too often, we see these death boxes for Ra against Atlantean to help them stay alive. We'll see if that actually is going to be a help or not. Generally speaking, I do prefer to see the shifting sands used for something a little bit more valuable. For example, shifting sands can be used to pick off a Titan gate. Shifting sands can be used to harass an enemy gold mine, kill off a whole bunch of citizen. It can also be used to take down a town center or something. So it can be really, really strong. As M4rcos coming in onto this position to take down the watchtower. I do apologize. At the moment, my hay fever, my allergies are just picking up a little bit too much. So I'm a little bit stuffy. So if I sneeze or sniffle, I do apologize. There's a couple of units getting taken down here to take out that watchtower. And M4rcos says, all right, I don't need to take that out. But he does lose quite a bit before the watchtower goes down. As SuperAfim making his army out. And I do like these sorts of classical armies against Oranos and against Atlantean for the reason that the slingers are a nice counter to the Terma when you have like chariot archers as well in the mix. If you can make chariot archers and slingers, it can be a really nice mix to kind of break down the Terma Murmillo army as an idea. As we see a couple more farms coming up on this position. Surprised to see him build them like this. Maybe he can't fit them through onto this position or something like that. But I'm sure that rain is going to come down fairly soon. Nice wall coming up here as well to defend this position. Wouldn't mind seeing some more priests coming out, as we are actually seeing that now for SuperAfim to jump onto the town center at the top side of the map to get as much economy as he possibly can through. M4rcos getting himself a forward town center here as well. So he's going for that 3 town center opening. And I imagine, as we are now seeing the villager moving over onto this gold mine here, and M4rcos is very quick to react to that. I imagine that M4rcos at this point is just going to mass units, try and go full population after this 3rd town center is up, and just put as much pressure over here as you possibly can. Now, SuperAfim does have an army out, so it's not going to be easy for M4rcos to just win on this position, but he does need to continue to put pressure on somehow, as SuperAfim slowly is going to start controlling the map a little bit more. As this wall here going up, he's already got the intention to defend this position as best as he can. And M4rcos says, all right, no worries. Pull back, hit a bit of a different timing, takes down a spearman there nicely. Good choice there from M4rcos as SuperAfim kind of over chases a little bit. That's the weakness of the Egyptian army, is how slow it is. Or the Egyptian classical army is how slow it is. So if you chase, then the units can turn around and pick off a unit as they kind of get a little bit out of position. As M4rcos' town center just about up. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. There is a really, really strong kind of counter strategy to this classical army, and that's simply going to the heroic age quite fast. And we are seeing that here from M4rcos. If you get to the heroic age quite fast in this position after all the classical units get built to try and defend the gold mine, you can actually go into some very, very strong Thea Contarius. Idea being to get yourself the upgraded Contarius with Poseidon's Secret as well, as we see Hyperion coming through though for M4rcos. So this one's a little bit different, not building any myth units out. He's going to be able to mass out those Satyr and go straight into, potentially go straight into Palace and Palace Destroyer Arcus as a different idea as well. With the Satyr helping out is going to be huge, as the villagers starting to search around here, going to be getting spotted there. No easy walls getting set up here, no sneaky walls getting set up, as the army very, very in position and defending, as Sehkmet coming through for SuperAfim as well here. At this point, as the units kind of need to retreat for M4rcos, as he's gone for a 3 town center semi-fast heroic versus the kind of just standard 2 town center semi-fast heroic for SuperAfim. As SuperAfim going to be trying to grab the town center in the middle of the map. Not exactly what M4rcos is going to be wanting to allow, because this is allowing SuperAfim to be on the map at this point. He's got he'll have 3 town centers. He's got a gold mine, nice and protected with every villager in the world on it here. So SuperAfim's going to be very, very happy about the position he's in, as the rain just about to finish, and a chaos on this position would hit that Wadjet as well as a handful of other units. So that could be very, very helpful here, as we do indeed see the chaos getting dropped. The army retreating back for M4rcos for the time being. Do we see any palaces getting dropped? Just the barracks at this point. I don't see anything else. As the town center will get finished up here. Shifting sands by SuperAfim as well to pull the units in behind this location as the heroic age hits. Citadel Center comes through. These units in the main base here are going to get taken down by the towers and the units in that as well. And SuperAfim gets up his town center. He's got everything he needs. He's going to be trying to secure this gold mine as well, with another Migdol stronghold going up, as Jamino coming through immediately here for M4rcos. As his plan is very clear. He wants as many Satyr as he possibly can have out. One thing that I think that a lot of players don't really do enough of, and I reckon only Loki does this, and I do think it's possible for many other civilizations to take advantage of it, is to build multiple temples. When you're getting those Satyr out, when you're getting those Battle Boar out, or Frost Giants out, or even trying to make a whole bunch of, I don't know, Skylar or anything else, it can be a really, really good idea to make that happen. As we do see Osiris coming through as well for SuperAfim, as M4rcos trying to push through. Osiris is a great counter to the Satyr spam that it seems M4rcos wants to do. So SuperAfim is making a good call here, going through Osiris fast here as well. As units starting to push in onto this position, we see more Murmillo coming through. Arcus coming in as well as the siege works coming up onto this position. M4rcos should be happy taking these fights, even though he might be losing a little bit, especially with the Satyr coming through. But he's currently spending all of his resources, and he's going to be chasing this Mythic Age of SuperAfim. How is he going to be able to deal with the Son of Osiris? How is he going to be able to deal with those mummies coming in as well? There's more buildings coming through from M4rcos in the middle of the map. Still no palaces coming up or anything like that, as the mercenary cavalry coming in to help out, as SuperAfim doesn't even care. One thing that SuperAfim could do with the army being positioned in this location here, and this is something you've always got to be thinking about while there's a fight going on, is how can I set up walls while this fight is going on? And you can definitely start sending villagers over here to put the walls up on the corner, start that trade route in the corner of the map, make it nice and safe, start utilizing that relic that he's put into his temple ages ago. He's already at 78 villagers, so he's not needing to spend food on anything anymore. As the unit's still pushing through here, and it looks like SuperAfim at this point he's getting pushed back here quite considerably. The gold mine over here still has 1,500 gold remaining. SuperAfim's at 115 population, and spending all of those resources on that Mythic Age, it seems, has been a big investment. As the Pharaoh coming through here, SuperAfim not paying attention, he's going to be losing that Pharaoh, which means he's going to delay the Son of Osiris considerably here. As, I mean, what's better, killing the Pharaoh off or leaving it alive with a handful of HP to get healed back up? Probably killing it off is the best play here, as the Pharaoh with 11 HP retreating back. The Terma trying to get into position to throw those spears in, but too far, as SuperAfim did not pay attention well enough. He doesn't manage to kill that one off. And is there a Pharaoh, a priest over here? There is a priest over here going to be healing that one back up fairly fast. So SuperAfim will be able to get himself that Son of Osiris out relatively quickly, as the walls are coming down to the bottom of the map as the villagers onto this gold mine. There is a scout already over here. And not only that, we see a Migdol stronghold coming up in the center of the map as well. As M4rcos pulls back, he wants to go to that Mythic Age. Part of me feels like going through Hecate, not going to be the best of ideas at this point. Not only do you have the fact that there's a Mythic Age Ra coming at you, which means potentially catapults to kind of take out that Tartarian Gate really easily, but also there's Sehkmet here. And it's getting quite late in the game, both players with full villages. So the amount of damage the Tartarian Gate can do might not be as much as the amount of damage that a Vortex could do here. Excuse me for the sniffly nose. It is what it is. As siege works coming up over here. Fact of the matter is, if you could Vortex onto this gold mine, take out this Migdol stronghold with stuff as well. As we see tons of Wadget actually coming out here for SuperAfim. That's an interesting decision. Look at the amount of Satyr that are here. For some reason here, M4rcos not focus firing down the mummies. It was a big problem as the Son of Osiris comes through, and that will be able to deal with the Satyr of M4rcos incredibly quickly. As the palace coming up onto this position, and M4rcos here, he is sending some raids down to target those villagers on that position there as well. As SuperAfim here, he's got the population advantage. He's about to get fortified town centers as well. So it goes up to 170 population. As that Son of Osiris getting a little bit out of position, starting to get targeted down as the elephants coming through here to try and take out the palace as well. As Chaos does get dropped, unfortunately not hitting the mummy, but the mummy goes down nonetheless. As another Wadget falling, and the Son of Osiris sitting back in a good position here, as SuperAfim is more than happy to continue pushing forward. Generally speaking, fighting really hard at these points as Ra is unnecessary, and it does give a chance for the Oranos player to find victories where they otherwise wouldn't be able to. Generally speaking, you can sit back and just get all your technological upgrades and take it really slow in these positions. But M4rcos does not seem to be able to be winning these fights, as the unit's now going to be searching for a temple. Do we see any sort of attempt at a Scarab? No, because a Wadget comes out. A Scarab would be huge here to just take everything out, but there's a catapult on this position that can potentially get dragged back to try and take out that Tartarian Gate. Not only that, Skin of the Rhino coming through for SuperAfim to try and deal with this, as the Tartarian Gate here Still can get thrown down, but M4rcos has not managed to do so. His heavy term are about to go down. He's putting attention onto this one as the Tartarian Gate goes down. Definitely picking up that Oseberg wagon and taking that one away from SuperAfim would be gigantic here. But he doesn't think about that one as the villagers have been pushed off of this gold mine. They're currently over on this gold mine at this point. And M4rcos, he really needs to start going for those distraction tactics, hitting multiple different low positions and finding advantages where that's concerned. As SuperAfim, he's gone for the elephants, the war elephants on this position. Will be helping out quite a bit, but the Lampede is such a huge unit to make this much, much less strong. Huge unit to kind of deal with war elephants. If M4rcos wants, he's got 82 favor in the bank. It wouldn't be a bad idea to just make massive Lampedes at this point. As the Son of Osiris still doing huge amounts of damage. Somehow, some way, M4rcos needs to push those archers forward to start targeting the Son of Osiris down, but he's not quite doing that just yet as the Lampede comes back into the fight, trying to convert yet another war elephant on this position. As over here, we haven't seen yet SuperAfim dealing with this Tartarian Gate as best as he possibly can, not sending his villagers in just yet as his camel caravans getting dealt with, villagers falling, and a lot of chaos happening in the main base for SuperAfim. At this point, he is sitting with 2,000 gold, however, so that's a decent position to be in. The market seemingly, well, it's over on this position, so even though it's up here and it's not in a good position at all. As the unit's still pushing forward for M4rcos, he hasn't managed to do any significant amount of damage onto that Son of Osiris here, as he is going to be retreating back. M4rcos has dropped down now to 130 of 160 population. He's got all of these military buildings, but a handful of them aren't training, and he needs to put a lot more down as he's trying to make fanatics out here to help defend these positions and deal with the mercenary cavalry coming his way. Watchtowers coming through for M4rcos as well, as a military barracks up on this position, ready to start putting some side pressure on and all the other good stuff that comes with that. As M4rcos trying to break through on this position here with those Contarius, trying to take out the catapult there. But SuperAfim, too many units here for the time being, as M4rcos just trying to get himself up to full population here. But by pulling back, he also allows SuperAfim to get to full population as well. And I guess while the Tartarian spawns are still alive, getting pressure done, it's kind of okay. As we see the catapults now going after that palace here. Can he get that damage done onto the Son of Osiris? He needs to focus that down as he's getting some good damage done there now as it's retreating back. The Contarius coming through trying to take out the catapult. SuperAfim in a very, very difficult position here with that Son of Osiris falling. It's going to allow M4rcos to push out of here nicely as the Wadgets do go down to some hero Arcus coming through onto this position, as the Son of Osiris is just going to continually get chased back as the army swarms through here for M4rcos, taken over on this fight beautifully. SuperAfim still sitting at 160 population as the Son of Osiris continually going down here. 100 HP remaining as that Fanatic still chasing this one away. 50 HP remaining, 30 HP remaining, 22 HP remaining, 19 HP remaining, and it's just about to go down here as the units continue chasing, and SuperAfim loses a huge part of his army as he's going to have to pull back here, and M4rcos going to be able to live another day. We'll see if he's going to be able to continue putting the pressure on, finding gold mines. Meanwhile, over on this position, the town center is going down as the catapults are coming through, and the distraction has been too much here by SuperAfim as he manages to take the town center down. And SuperAfim here, beautiful. I mean, he loses the Son of Osiris, but he also manages to take down a town center. So where something goes wrong for SuperAfim, he manages to make something go right. But now these catapult kind of useless. There are a lot of population. M4rcos might be able to push in with his human-based army here, take out those catapult and try and grab this town center back as the citizen moving forward here. Going to be looking to grab the town center back for the time being. Got to be careful with those citizens though, not wanting to lose those. There's a manner he can jump into for the time being. The catapults will probably go down before the citizens fall here, as one citizen actually does end up falling as M4rcos doesn't control that to the best of his ability. Champion infantry and flight control coming through here for M4rcos as well to try and help him out, as the elephants getting swarmed for the time being. 2 citizens remaining here as he desperately needs to get this town center back. SuperAfim at this point still has not dealt with this Tartarian Gate as it's sitting at 2,300 HP. The houses are going to start going down. Many other things are going to start going down here as well. As, I mean, this is, you know how I was saying Helios was a good idea? I'm wrong. For some reason here, SuperAfim has not managed to work out how to kill this Tartarian gate. He's got himself a temple up, so he can build a scarab if he gets the food. One scarab is kind of enough to kill off the Tartarian gate, I believe. As the town center attempting to come back up, those champion men are going to be doing a lot of damage. As the catapult moving forward here, going to try and get into range. You kind of need a lot more than this to get that town center up. As we do see a shockwave coming in, trying to help those infantry units push through to take down the catapults, but they're more than close enough at this point, and that shockwave did not really get to do what he needs to here in this game. As the palace coming up now for M4rcos to try and help him hold on, but SuperAfim here, he's got no resources remaining. He's desperately trying to keep that town center down, but no resources remaining. 120 out of 170 population. He's still making camel caravans in a way. No, he stopped making the camel caravans, as those are kind of useless. Moving through that Tartarian spawn there, Tartarian gate and the Tartarian spawns here. As the palace looks like it's going to be coming up, the catapults have been dragged back. M4rcos here still managing to hold on this position with less population, but he's sitting at more population at the moment here, as he doesn't quite have the resources to get himself the town center back up at this point. He does have a nice trade route started. Does he have coinage? No coinage just yet. Would be a good technology to grab at this point with around 7, generally around 5 to 10 caravans. Getting that upgrade is going to be paying for itself very, very quickly. As M4rcos at this point, he's trying to get himself out some fire cipher to take everything else out on this position. The longer this goes on, the stronger SuperAfim's economy is going to get. But now villagers on the main base here, with underneath the fortified town center, or citadel center, I should say, they're starting to get taken off these farms. So SuperAfim's economy is just getting worse and worse in this game. He's down to 72 villagers. He's got very, very low food. So those archers are just going to town on everything here. As we'll see if these guys can kind of move in and try and take out the catapult on the back there, as the military barracks coming down there as well. Villagers on this gold mine in the middle of the map also very, very open to attack. There is a back gold mine here as well, as the gold mines for M4rcos. He's got a little bit of gold left there, a little bit of gold left there, and not very much gold left over here as well. So in total, probably about 5,000 gold remaining for M4rcos. So he will need to start that trade route going much, much stronger than he currently is, as the town center is attempting to come back up for the time being. At this moment here, SuperAfim not paying attention. He's actually lost some houses here, as the Tartarian spawns managed to take those down. So at this point, even though M4rcos is down in town center and fortified citadel center, he's still, M4rcos is only down 10 population at the moment, and SuperAfim just cannot manage to produce anything, as M4rcos is pulling further and further in front in this game. Once that town center comes back up, M4rcos is going to be in for a very, very strong time here as well. That catapult might try and move forward here to delay the town center even more, but there's a handful of units. Nice micro here from M4rcos to distract the units over here as the catapult tries to move forward, but not going to be able to make that work here. As we also see Arcus checking out this gold mine down the bottom here. Going to be able to put some raids over there as well, as we see a Migdol stronghold getting put up on that position there as well. As the village is getting taken out here. And M4rcos gets his town center back up. It's not game over for SuperAfim, but he still needs to deal with this town center here. Not this town center, this Tartarian gate here. Not dealing with this has done so much damage to SuperAfim. And while the units here are kind of idle to some degree at this point, SuperAfim, he's at 80 villagers, but he just doesn't have the right income to support everything here. As the fire siphon pops out, another palace coming down, and M4rcos is going to be able to push through here and start looking to target down this town center. As SuperAfim, he doesn't even have a trade route set up at this point, is a huge deal. As the Migdol stronghold gets set up on this position, he can get that market going. He can try and trade to the hometown center here, and now a catapult comes in finally, but the Tartarian spawns are going to be able to deal with that one fairly easily after all is said and done. He needs some more distractions with a catapult. Generally, you can just send the villagers in to kill off the Tartarian, especially with Skin of the Rhino. They stay alive for quite some time. As the SuperAfim Migdol stronghold is going to be getting taken out as well, as the Murmillo pushing in onto this position to take out the villagers. The chariot archers sitting on the back here. Going to be falling fairly quickly as well. And SuperAfim's got 92 population remaining. 0 gold right now in the bank. He's only got this gold mine over here that's barely protected. And in that moment, SuperAfim taps out as M4rcos manages to somehow get max value against a Sehkmet Ra with Tartarian Gate to absolutely put a stop to SuperAfim. He manages to snipe that side of Osiris down for the trade of a town center. And while doing that, the Tartarian Gate completely shuts down SuperAfim's Ra economy because SuperAfim refuses to simply just say, no worries, I'm going to just kill off the Tartarian Gate. I'm going to give that town center back. I'm going to sit back, get my economy going back again, and just play a 3 town center war here, which does normally go in the favor of the Ra player, especially when you've got that Citadel center. But he just didn't want to take his foot off the pedal, and M4rcos made him pay for it. And he claims the first win in this series. Really well played here by M4rcos. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.